Hey guys, it's Arena. Welcome back to Fantastic Korean Dishes, where we cook up simple but delicious Korean meals. Today we're going to be making bibimbap. It is not only my all-time favorite, but these days I'm sure a lot of us are really trying to take care of our health. We're trying to squeeze in more vegetables in our diet. Well, if you're looking for a healthy Korean meal, this is it. Today we're going to be doing the cooked bibimbap, where we cook up all the different ingredients and put them all together and then serve it with a bit of meat and a fried egg. And then we're going to be making two different sauces, a spicy one and a mild one. So if you're ready, let's get cooking. So first off, we're going to prep our veggies. We're going to take 1/6 of an onion and we're going to slice it thinly. I'm going to cut about 1/3 of this half of an onion. Okay, next you're going to need about 75 grams of mushrooms. Today I'm going to be using oyster mushrooms just because I think it really goes well with bibimbap, but you can use whatever mushroom you have on hand, whatever you have in the fridge, or whatever mushroom you like. Next, we're going to julienne 1/3 of a carrot. It's just slice off one end, just so I get a flat surface to work with, like that. Okay, and then I'm going to cut it diagonally into thin slices. And then I'm going to stack them together, about 4 at a time. And then I'm going to julienne them. And one great thing about adding carrots to pretty much any dish, but especially bibimbap, is it just adds a beautiful splash of orange. Next, we're going to need some bean sprouts. Okay, make sure you use cold water. And you want to wash it nice and clean. And then rinse a couple of times. Okay, that's done. And then you're going to want to take some spinach, about 75 grams. We're going to take these to the sink and then wash them as well. You really remove all the dirt and debris that's kind of sitting at the bottom. Give it a good rinse. One thing you need to know about spinach tastes amazing during the winter season. You're going to need 75 grams of ground beef, and you want to put a paper towel at the bottom. It's also nice to, pat it down as well, just to get all the blood out and drain it out. That way you don't get that gamey flavor in the meat. So we're going to set this aside. We're going to create our marinade for the beef. We're going to put in 1/2 tablespoon of soy sauce, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of minced garlic, 1 teaspoon of sesame seed oil, 1 teaspoon of toasted sesame seeds, and then a bit of black ground pepper. We're going to give it a good mix. Make sure we dissolve all the grainy ingredients. Good. Okay. Now we're going to add in the meat. And just using my chopsticks, I'm going to mix everything and make sure that the marinade is distributed evenly. So once you've given the ground beef a good mix, it's nice to just let it sit for about 5 minutes so it really soaks up the sauce. Okay, let's go to the stove pot and prep our other ingredients. So I have a big pot of water boiling. And we're going to first blanch the bean sprouts. I'm going to add in a little bit of salt. It's always nice to season the water just a little bit. I'm going to use a strainer just to push it down a little bit. And then we're going to let it boil for about a minute or two. And whenever you're blanching bean sprouts, it's good to cook it without the lid because there is like a bit of smell that comes with bean sprouts when you close the lid. I'm going to gather them in my strainer and and dunk them in the cold water. I'm going to take them out, bunch them in my hands, and give it a gentle squeeze to take out the excess water. This is important because you don't want the bean sprouts to be watery when you put it in the bibimbap. Next, in the same boiling water, we're going to blanch our spinach. Spinach cooks really quickly, so you do want to be watching it. Give it about 20 seconds. And the spinach is blasting off into the bowl of cold water. Okay, we're going to turn this off. Let the spinach cool. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to bunch them in our hands once they've cooled down. And give it a nice, firm but gentle squeeze. Does that even make sense? We're going to quickly season this. Okay, we're going to season the bean sprouts. We're going to put in a pinch of salt, 1 teaspoon of sesame seed oil, and we're going to put some toasted sesame seeds. And we're going to mix it all. Chopsticks are great for bean sprouts because you can easily separate the strands. Next, we're going to season the spinach. Okay, today our spinach is a little bit long, so what we're going to do is we're going to give it a nice cut in the middle. I'm going to add in a pinch of salt. Okay, 2 pinches, I lied. We're going to put in half a teaspoon of sesame seed oil, and then we're going to put in some toasted sesame seeds. Okay, we're going to use some chopsticks just to mix everything in together. And this is basically kimchi namul, so you can have this as a side dish actually if you wanted. Okay, so now we're going to stir fry the mushrooms and the onions together. Often people put the oil first and then they stir fry the mushrooms, but mushrooms are actually very, very sponge-like and they absorb so much oil. So it's always good to stir fry them before the oil and then add the oil after. Okay, you can hear a little bit of that sizzle. And I'm just going to use my chopsticks and I'm just going to mix them up so they cook nice and evenly. You don't want them to burn, so you want to keep on moving them. You're going to add in a little bit of oil, maybe about a tablespoon. And then you're going to add in your onions. And we're going to add a pinch of salt. And we're going to cook this until the onions turn translucent and golden. I'm going to bring down the heat just a little bit. It's about medium-high heat. Okay. I'm going to put this aside. That smells incredible. And in the same pan, we're going to drizzle a little bit of oil. We're going to add in our carrots. Add in a pinch of salt. And stir fry them on medium to high heat. And we're going to fry them for about a minute, just until they're slightly tender. Okay. That's done. And in the same pan, we're going to put in our marinated ground beef. We're not going to add any oil because there already is a little bit of oil in it. And then also there's going to be some fat coming out of the beef as well. I'm going to just use my chopsticks for a bit just to separate the meat. Oh, that smell is amazing. And then I'm going to go in with a spatula and give the beef a nice mix. And if you happen to be vegetarian, you can put in some tofu. I know some people actually put like tempeh in their bibimbap, and like avocado is also a nice alternative. So the beef is done as well. So first we're going to make the sauce that is basically made of red pepper paste. It's quite spicy. It's a little bit sweet. We will need 2 tablespoons of gochujang or red pepper paste. Next, we'll need 1 teaspoon of vegetable umami. Next, we're going to add in 1 tablespoon of sesame seed oil. Okay, and we're going to give it a good mix. I'm going to serve it in a nice, pretty bowl. Next, we're going to make our soy sauce based sauce. So 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of vegetable umami, and then 1 tablespoon of water. Next, we're going to add in 1 teaspoon of toasted sesame seeds and 1 teaspoon of sesame seed oil. And give that a good mix. Okay, that looks good. Now we're going to put all our ingredients into our bowl. I'm going to start with the carrots. And remember, we're splitting up the ingredients with 2 bowls of rice. Next, we're going to put the mushrooms sautéed with the onions. Next, we're going to put the spinach. Next, we're going to add the bean sprouts. And last but not least, we're going to put in the ground beef. We're going to cover that part with a fried egg. And we're going to make the second bowl, and we're going to do the exact same thing. I'm just going to put them in the exact same order. It is now time to have a taste. So yeah, shall we? Okay, so we're going to put in, I like spice, but I don't like too much spice. So I'm going to put maybe about 2/3 of the red pepper paste. So we're going to just tear the egg apart along with the sauce. Just kind of mix everything together. Ooh, I'm so excited. Will you look at that? Look how good that looks. Oh my goodness, I'm like salivating. Oh my goodness, that is so good. It's got the chewiness from the mushrooms, you've got the crunchiness of the carrots and the spinach, and the bean sprouts. You can taste the creaminess from the yolk, and then it's got that nice kick from the red pepper paste. It is so good. Next, we're gonna try the soy sauce based sauce. We're gonna put in 3 spoons, I think that should be good. And we're gonna give it a nice, good mix. I'm gonna have a taste. Look at that, that looks so good. Wow, that is so good. You've got the saltiness and savoriness from the soy sauce. There's a lot of nutty flavor because of the sesame seeds, and you can really taste every single ingredient. It is so good. So that is it for my recipe for bibimbap. It is so nutritious, so wholesome, so good for you. It does take a little bit of time just to prepare each of the ingredients, but it's not difficult at all. And believe me, it is well worth it. It is such a beautiful dish to serve to guests. And we have a spicy version on days where you just crave some spice, and a milder version that's great for the whole family. Hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. Be sure to join me next time for another fantastic Korean recipe. Till then, stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you soon. Bye!